We are literally minutes away from seeing our galley for the first time. It's so good!
We talked a lot about the galley in the past episodes. It's probably the part of the boat I've been obsessing over the most behind the scenes. I'm gonna have to decide exactly what we need, what we want, trying to understand the different materials, different options, what the pros and cons are with each. And with good reason. When we're out sailing and cruising, food is such a big part of life. On passage, it's a little highlight in the rhythm of the day, something to look forward to when the ocean stretches endlessly around you. After a big day of exploring and diving, nothing feels better than coming home and cooking up a massive feed. And when you meet a new boat at an anchorage, a shared meal is the fastest way to go from strangers to friends. I've poured a ton of time and energy into designing the perfect space to make this magic happen. But up until now, it's all just lived in our heads. But today, that changes. The galley fit out is kicking off for real, and it feels amazing to finally bring it to life.
Before we set off this morning, I want to share something with you that has been part of my morning routine for, it's been like 4 years since we first started drinking AG1 Next Gen. That is also the sponsor of this week's episode. And AG1 Next Gen just got even better. After years of development and trials, the formula features upgraded probiotics and added vitamins and minerals. And honestly, it's one of the easiest healthy habits I've ever stuck to. I think there's a few reasons why. First of all,
I do love that it's so quick and easy to make. It's like perfect for us in the mornings now because it's so much going on. It literally takes me like a few seconds to make it.
And it just genuinely tastes good.
Sometimes I mix it with a bit of lemon or orange juice for a little twist.
But the thing I've noticed the most with drinking AG1 Next Gen for so long, it's how it makes me feel. Like I've always had a very sensitive gut, and when my gut is happy, I'm happy. So like I have better focus, I have more energy, I just feel better overall. And now with AG1's new Next Gen formula, it's even better. So it's a great time to give it a try. If you click our link in the description below or the QR code right here on the screen, you'll get $76 of free extras when you subscribe. They also have a new awesome travel pack design. I've been using the travel packs a lot over the years, especially in the shop or when we're on the go. So if you're someone who's like constantly on the move, you can even subscribe to get 30 travel packs a month instead of the pouch. So that's pretty handy. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Me and Brian are huge fans. You can click our link in the description below or scan the QR code right here on the screen to get started with AG1 Next Gen for less than $3 a day. That's like less than a cup of coffee. Okay, now we're gonna jump in the car and get going.
It's been such a long process to get here. Like I was just thinking about, just starting to figuring out like building the model as I did like months ago, right? I do have a lot of experience sailing, seeing different boats and kind of knowing what I want, but it's a lot to learn. And I feel that for you to kind of ask the right questions, I have to gain knowledge myself. So it's been a steep learning curve. And since we're starting in the kitchen, if we're gonna start working on how much space we have, even understanding everything, I built this model. This is it. It's to scale 1 to 100. Printed out a little person. And then also like everything that had to do the veneer. Oh my God, do you remember that journey?
I remember that
My
journey.
veneer journey.
Where do I even begin on my veneer journey? choosing a veneer that we like that will create the majority of the finishing on the cabinets, not just in the galley, but throughout the entire boat, was a process in and of itself.
We did a video, I can put it on the screen here somewhere, but we went to sea and we picked out the veneer that we really, really loved.
I like it as a little bit bolder.
Yeah.
Time to be brave, Kaz.
I'm sold.
You're sold?
This was a pretty special and highly sought after veneer actually, a beautiful Australian white birch, which had a really unique backstory about it. It was cut down while clearing a fire break during the Australian wildfires in 2019. We were super stoked to have finally found a winner. But in what feels like a bit of a foreshadowing looking back on it now, our carpenter Steve did warn us not to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Well, we do have to find the solids, so...
Yeah.
If you're not that familiar with this process, the veneer is basically a super thin sheet of wood that we'll put over a lightweight foam to create a nice wood finish on the cabinets without all the added weight and cost for using wood for the entire structure. But certain matching parts of the boat, like the door frame for example, actually need solid wood, not just a thin veneer. And finding a match turned out to be much trickier than expected.
And I think we left that video kind of like open because it was such an unknown and I was right in the middle of it when that was edited, but actually feeling quite bummed. I've spent the last 3 days just calling around to, I think, about 50 different places. I've talked with so many people. I've had some amazing Delos followers, so thank you all of you guys that helped me out trying to find a solid wood for the Australian white birch. I've just come to the conclusion, discussed with Brian, that we just cannot choose it because we managed to find one guy, but he hasn't even cut down the trees yet. So that might, be weeks, potentially stretching into months. We don't really know. So we decided to go with another favorite of ours, which is this one, which is the American rock maple. This one is also beautiful. It's hard though when you feel really set on something and you're like, oh, you're so stoked, and then you can't get it, it's just like, oh no. But I think this one will be super beautiful as well. And I had made 100% sure that we can get the solids for this. So now me and Brian are just gonna go and pick out the solids for this one and we should be all good to go.
So basically what we've been doing, in my vast amount of woodworking knowledge, which is nothing, we've gotten some directions from Steve, who said we need to find boards that are straight and true, as long as possible, at least 12 centimeters wide, no knots, plain board in nice patterns, and the right color. So as we go along, we're kind of like shaving off a little bit plainer so that we can see the true color of the wood. And then we compare that to our little sample, which you can see how where I planed it, it's actually quite close. And then we make 2 piles. The one right there is our reject pile, and the one over here is our yes pile. And I think we're good. I think we have enough.
So yeah, as you can see, the whole thing has been a bit of a whirlwind. But today, after 8 months of perfecting our design for the layout and sourcing all the materials and appliances, we were about to meet up with Steve for the big reveal and see how all these months of dreaming are finally coming to life.
I'm really, really stoked. I've seen pictures that Steve has sent to me, but I just cannot wait to see it. And I think, yeah, I'm just so excited.
Is that how you walk?
Normal walk?
Steve and Steve, good to see you, buddy. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good.
Good, good, good. Hey, Steve. Good, thank you. You ready for the big reveal? Whoa! Looks beautiful.
So good. I love it. It's so good. I love it.
She's happy, I think.
Yes.
How does it feel, Kaz, to see all your scheming and planning and coming to fruition.
Good, to be honest.
Finally coming.
She's beaming.
I know. I was so excited in the car. I was like,
Seeing the first really big part of the interior nearly completed was such a crazy feeling. Literally hundreds of tiny decisions all came together to create a space that will make up such an important part of our everyday lives when we're out sailing. Each piece is a little story and a process. Like this trash can, for example.
I kind of imagined it being just like this drawer that you open and it's kind of like on a tilt, and I was like, oh, that's really cool.
That is cool.
But then when I actually drew it, I'm like,
It's super deep.
it's the counter is super deep and you will lose a bunch of space. Then I went to a square one, but then I realized when measuring it here in the kitchen that, oh, that's actually huge and we don't need that much. So then I split it and I figured out how big do we actually want it. So this is kind of what's happening, and it's the same.
It's kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah, it's the same with this one. Both me and Brian looked at it and we were like, oh my god, that's way too much.
City.
Yeah, so then I drew this one.
It looks pretty clean.
It might seem like a small thing, but with boat life, space, flow, and practicality are everything. And when you multiply that out by all the ways the galley could have come together, it adds up to the difference between having an awesome space that you love and that works really well, or always feeling like something is just a bit off. And on top of that, the craftsmanship was just amazing. And we really couldn't be happier with how it turned out.
You can't even really tell. Where did you join them? Like maybe right.
In where the, well, you can see the join there.
It's done really well.
Yeah, we pull them up tight with masking and then bag them on. So.
how hard is that? What an exciting visit. I was super stoked.
It all came together. You did so
I
good,
know.
Cos.
It all came together so well, and both Steve and Steve has so much attention to detail and just like really good at what they're doing. So
Couldn't be happier.
I know, I could not be happier either, and it's so amazing to see something that you've been working on for so long like it's kind of come together. Actually the next step in this journey is to take all of this stuff up to the boat. We have one load now. We're gonna bring one load next week as well, and then Steve is gonna come up and we're gonna talk about the port hull. We're also gonna kind of dry fit the galley inside the boat. It's gonna be interesting to see it in there because I think we're gonna realize the space very differently and kind of see it differently too. So yeah, that's the next step.
We would come back to pick up the rest on Monday, but for now, the sun was out, the weekend had arrived, and a little bike ride was calling our names.
Look at my sweet hat. Got my rash guard on. You guys ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready too.
Yeah.
We've got some pretty awesome sun protection gear in our shop, and we've torture tested it over the years, like these hooded rash guards and sun hats. They're super high quality, and we pretty much live in them when we're out sailing. We've also got some sweet new Delos 2.0 build crew merch that we just launched. So head on over to svdelos.com/shop and check it out.
There's this amazing little trail in Victoria Point, and it just kind of like goes from our neighborhood through the mangroves right by the yard, and then it goes along the beach, and then we go swimming when we get super hot, and it's just really nice to get out and get some exercise. You ready, team? Are we feeling great?
Feeling great.
What'd you think about that ride?
That's awesome.
It's such a nice ride, huh? Look at this water though. This is such a beautiful area. The thing I love about this area is all the parks and how clean and well manicured everything is. Like everything is very litter free.
And so quiet.
And so quiet. What a terrible noise. Well deserved. Cheers.
Cheers.
Conk.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
too shabby, huh?
Not too bad at all. I'm gonna get in that water soon.
Yeah.
Ah, it's So nice, huh? Sierra's been going to swimming lessons at the YMCA right next to our house, and she's doing so good. Do you want to show us?
But then you have a goggles on.
Go get your goggles.
Oh, that's a mermaid.
I lost my way home. I don't know where I am. You know where I'm at?
At the beach.
I'm actually visiting my home.
We're back at Steve's shop and we are packing out our galley. We're just trying to fit everything in Dan's ute. I feel like we packed it pretty good.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
I know. Thank you, Steve.
Well done.
See you at the boat. I want hugs. I like hugs.
Today, we're going to be fitting everything in place. So you're actually going to see the galley come together.
Starting to carry some stuff up.
So I guess the first step is we have the center line of the boat marked here and here and over there. We're going to mark it out on the floor because everything is measured out from the center line this way.
How's that for a guess? Is that all right?
Maybe just a, what is Dan's unit of measurement?
Bee's dick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely within a bee's dick there.
What's a bee's dick?
I think after we have the center line marked out, then we can measure over for the actual placement of the kicks and where all the cabinetry goes. We extended the floor out. You know, the floor used to end here, so the extension has been built out and all this framing has been placed in over the last weeks. This is the support for the oven down here, and now it's real exciting because now we get to see how everything comes together and how everything fits, and it's kind of a sanity check too, right?
As we prepared to start putting everything into place, there was an important step that we didn't realize needed to happen first. If you're wondering like us what the heck Steve is doing here, let me try and explain.
So basically what we're doing is we're looking for any high spots on the floor so that we can basically set the cabinetry up to that, and then we use packers to make everything level and accommodate for any imperfections of the floor. So this laser is set up, and basically take this stick and we go around and we mark different little spots until we find the high spot. And it seems to be right about here.
Yeah,
it's slightly higher than the rest.
I think
so.
it's, if you turn it the other way.
Oh yeah. That lines up better with our mark.
Yeah.
With our yellow tape.
How big was the difference? Like
I think
what?
there's about 10 mil in it.
Oh, okay. So that's quite a bit.
Yeah, oh, it's definitely worthwhile to go through this process because,
Yeah.
like I said the other day in the factory, if the kicks aren't level, all the doors and drawer fronts will be twisted and they won't line up properly. And
Yeah, and also the
So-
countertop, it's going to be a nightmare.
It just has a
It's not-
knock-on effect, yeah. So
Yeah.
the better you get the kicks down, the cabinets will be good, the bench top will go on well. It just has a knock-on effect right the way through.
Also, it's probably worth noting that this isn't the permanent floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we put in the final floor, Dan will probably spend some time on the stringers and stiffeners underneath that, and he might be able to get that a little bit closer.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I don't think you'll find a floor that's always, perfectly level all the way around. So this is just how we always go about it. So.
With Steve at the helm, we started meticulously measuring and placing everything. Precision is absolutely the name of the game here, and Steve was truly a master of his craft. Even though we would still be taking it all apart and installing it later once the final floors are in, it was critical that we make sure everything lined up absolutely perfect to avoid any future headaches.
I feel like I'm learning so much today.
You never stop.
What did you say those little red things were?
Is it like specific for this purpose, or is it just?
These are custom made, of course.
Yeah.
They're just bulk cards. But they're accurate for a millimetre thick, so
Yeah.
they're great for.
Awesome.
We use them for gapping the doors and stuff, like 2 millimetres.
Yeah.
Watching it all come together really gives me an appreciation for the skill and craftsmanship that goes into building a boat. We've drawn upon so much expertise from so many different people, as well as cultivating and developing our own skills along the way in ways that we could never have imagined. There's about 1 million different ways our galley could have come together, but with our own vision and experience of what layouts work well for sailing and which don't, personal style and preference, who we sourced materials from and consulted for information, and of course Steve putting it all together, we arrived to what we believe to be the perfect galley for us.
Oh, you get the glory of the last drawer, huh, Cass? Wow, how exciting is this? How are you feeling right now?
So stoked.
It looks great.
Yeah.
You're blocking the sweet oven. Get out of the way. Wow, that looks beautiful, huh? Okay, so that fit in there just perfect. So we're ready for the fridge and freezer right now? Okay, let me get Dan the man and his forklift.
The next hours were spent in the porthole discussing every single detail you could possibly imagine about the cabinetry that will go into the cabins. There's literally so much that we covered that it could be its own full-length episode, but I think we'll save that for when we actually start doing the interior cabin fit-outs in earnest, which is still a little ways down the road. But for now, apart from our brains being cooked, we were beyond stoked with how things were looking so far.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a full day, Kaz.
I feel like my head is about to explode for the day.
Basically, we spent the entire day
Yeah.
planning, well, not only putting together the galley, which looks absolutely fantastic, by the way,
I know.
but going through the entire porthole and talking about the nuances of every cabinet,
Nook
cubby,
and cranny.
door, frame,
Yeah.
jam, liner, and everything else in my head too feels.
And
It's spinning.
I did prepare as much as I could with like notes, and I brought out pictures and stuff that I thought about and like measurements, but it's still just like you run into so many interesting things. And then, you know, this is
So many
Steve's,
nuances.
yeah, this is Steve's profession. So he's just like, oh, but have you thought about that? And I'm like, oh no, I haven't really thought about that. And then like, you just get on these tangents of stuff that you just like never even considered being an issue, and all of a sudden it's just not an issue but just like a challenge. And then like,
Well, something you have to figure out.
yeah, it's just a lot of small things that we have to figure out, and everything is like linked together. So if something isn't right over here, it kind of cascades into this like potentially could be a really tricky thing further down the line.
But it's a good day.
Yeah, it's a really good day.
Look at this.
I know. Look at this, guys.
So cool.
Like, you can
So we
just, there is so much space even in here. Like, we can be two in here, right?
Hello. Hi.
We're both in the
We're
galley.
two in here.
That was so bad, okay.
That's terrible. You really are losing it. Look, we put the fridge.
Yeah.
This is for the fridge. Look at the size of this beast.
I know, and I really like that it doesn't open. You can
Yeah,
stand
you can
here.
still walk by
Yeah.
with the fridge open, which is sweet.
Amazing.
And so this is all temporary, right?
Yeah.
Because we still have the temporary construction floor in. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to check everything, fit it, make sure that the measurements and the plan and the design were correct, and it is.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I think it's
See how
amazing,
the oven looks.
like, to actually do this, because you realize so many things that it's like, okay, we really need to make sure, for example, when the new flooring goes in, or our permanent flooring, that we double check these things, you know, before it kind of like gets bolted down. So it's really, even though it took better
part of half of the day, I think it's definitely worth it because we realized so many things.
Look at the freezer. So, double drawer freezer. And then this will be like the whole countertop will wrap around, cover this whole area and all the way over to here too. So it'll be a nice big countertop with like a breakfast bar area here.
Yeah, so we'll have the countertop stick out and chairs.
So far pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's time to head home because I'm burnt.
I know, I'm so tired. It's time to pack up and yeah. Whew. See you guys tomorrow.
Up next on Delos, we light a candle for a very special birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Delos 2.0. Happy birthday to you. Can't believe it's been a year, guys. High five.
And crack open the time capsule from day one.
What will be the most challenging part of the build?
The momentum picks up. Oh, and guess who's back?
We have a special visitor today. There he is.